Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C. Hope you're doing well. This is your weekly sports card chart blast where we take a look at the price action of our favorite collectibles. Price is truth. Start off with the indices. I want to talk about market cap for just a quick second because it seems like it's coming up in some conversations. I've had a few nice ones myself, especially with the always terrific Bobbles and Ball cards. Shout out to him, and then we'll just get on with the rest of the deal and get you out of here. Pencils down, beers up, all that kind of good stuff. Although, if you're watching this in the early afternoon, you may want to wait. Let that frost you and wait till the evening here. So indices over the last month, a lot of red across the board here. What was once hot is now not, or something like that. So what goes up must come down eventually. So baseball, wrestling, racing up nicely here. Baseball highly relevant. A few players doing pretty well here. Pokemon showing some green as well, but the football entertainment indices are off quite a bit here. So the racing continues to go. Charlie Leclerc putting in some new highs. That was really the only one as of interest. So the card ladder data on the indices is a kind of a monthly deal. They'll go over the last month, and so what I'm seeing is, especially in the wrestling and things of that nature, is we haven't had sales for maybe a couple of weeks. So those sales from a couple of weeks ago are still on there. It still counts for the index. But as far as anything super current, not so much. So again, all this is entertainment, grain of salt type stuff here. So quick word about market cap. All right, market cap is real simple. How many cards are outstanding multiplied by the price. Lots of problems with it, and on its face, no one should have a problem with it in here, right? It's there. Use it or don't use it, but I'm just going to kind of share with you how it's used. And so for cards, it's largely useless. So it's just there for anecdotal purposes. In the real investment world, a market cap is combined with other things to give you an idea of valuations and takeovers and all that kind of good stuff here. So on its own, when you have the price versus times the shares outstanding, it just tells you how large something is. Are you a large cap? Are you a small cap? With that information, you need to do a little bit more work. And so Apple, first $1 trillion company. What does that mean? Does it mean it's expensive, cheap? You need to look at the earnings and the cash flow. You don't get any of that with cards. And so on its own, kind of worthless stuff here. Where it can be useful is when you combine it with other indicators. So if we look at something like market cap divided by GDP, your gross domestic product, which is an indicator that has a lot of problems as well. It's easily manipulated, but you can get an understanding. And so when it gets to excess, when it gets to the level of excess and starts to roll over, that can be at a minimum. One of these inputs is going to have to change. Your GDP goes down, or your market cap, i.e., the price of the securities, falls as well. So you see, we had the tech crash, the great financial crisis, whatever the heck we're calling that. Was hedge funds blowing up, really, but people will say it's COVID, which really wasn't. And then you see it rolling over again today as this metric becomes historically extended, and so you can see with a lot of intervention, things of that nature, it's become unnatural, these rises. So. Seeing it roll over again here. So again, you have to combine it with other indicators to really make it useful. It's not hurting anything being in the card ladder suite of tools or anything like that. But again, on its own, I don't think it has a lot of utility. All right, that sponsor sucked. Let's get on with the chart show here. So Nick Madrigal. These are some of the baseball risers here. So this is his 9.5, 10 Bowman Draft auto here, and it's seeing an uptick lately. I haven't really looked at what he's been doing. I'm just interested in the price for this one, except for a few players later on where I'm going to be interested in what they're doing. So I'm going to mix it up just a little bit here. But yeah, that's an interesting rise for Nick Madrigal. Probably not anything I would do at this point, but it's very thinly traded. See what can happen. But if you're in that, I don't know if he's playing well, you're not seeing $50 again. That's for darn sure. So, but when you pull back into that $1,500 area, it's like, okay, buyers seem to step in there. So maybe I'll take a look at him next. Well, if he's doing really well, you will see him next week. So Nolan Ryan, another card ripping in that index. So card ladder has gone through and they've added a bunch of cards. So I think I don't know if they're just going year by year, but I'm really happy that they're adding a lot of baseball to this thing. We can get up and maybe we'll get some Xander Bogaerts in there. So, but yeah, Kyle Tucker, come on guys, help me out here. Carlos Correa, I want to look at some of these other players as well here. But 1980 tops Nolan Ryan with an absolute rip off the bottom of the range here. here. So again, if you're looking at that card in a decent condition, wouldn't do anything with it here, but there's a lot of interest kind of in that. Mostly what I'm saying on this one is don't do anything with it here. But if you get back into that sub $100 area, it seems like people are happy to pick it up. But someone did something that they weren't paying attention. I don't know, or they just don't care. It's $130. Maybe they just didn't care. The Nolan Ryan collector, it's like, hey, I just want the card to be done. So a lot of reasons for that. Mariano Rivera continues to leak. Lower out of this consolidation into a zone where likely gets snapped up pretty quickly. So if you're looking for a near mint grade of that card, pretty cheap entertainment and looks like a pretty decent opportunity. Clayton Kershaw in 9.5, an absolute monster rip. So we're seeing this with the Nolan Ryan. You see these one-offs here where you have the one person that thinks that's the price, and there's a lot of people here that think this is the price. And now you come back to an area where people think this is the price. If you're looking for a Clayton Kershaw and a BGS 9.5, presenting you with a decent opportunity, could go a bit lower. I don't know. It's very thinly traded, so the next guy can come in here. I don't know. The next person could push it back up there. But again, if you get into that, call it 350 or something like that, it looks like a pretty decent spot. Vlad Guerrero, he's pretty relevant. He's good. This is the chrome with a big spike, and it's like, come on, that's the top of the, near the top of the range. Wouldn't do much with it here. Coming back into to where there's been more sustainable buying. So if you're patient and you're looking for that card and you have to have it, then I think you're getting closer to that spot here. So I mean, he's awesome, and you can have these. He's gonna cool off from that hot start at some point. Anybody that started off hot is gonna have a little bit of regression. So maybe this is it. Vlad in the PSA 10. This is the refractor, top of the range here. So again, patience may be rewarded. All right, Gavin Lux. Thought I had the no number there. Did I just completely skip over it? I don't know. So all right, Gavin Lux. All right. Let's take a look at Mr. Lux. This is a guy that I've talked about a little bit. Bought some of his cards during the offseason. I'm not buying anything now. I'm not trying to pump anything, so I'm not going to sell right now or anything like that. I've never sold a card, honestly, and so I'm too lazy to do that. So even if I say, I'm going to take profits at some point, I'm probably not. It's probably just still sit in my shoebox. So, all right, here. For the season, Mr. Lux is he's got a starting job. It's like, all right, hey, let's take a shot on him here. So, 276 average, 157 weighted runs created, 0.64. He could wind up with the 4 or 5 win season here. That's all-star level stuff. And so a couple of things that I'd really like to see is that that walk strikeout profile. He's walking under 20% of the time. He's striking out under 20% of the time, and that's really, really good stuff here. So BABIP average is fine. So can he be a 280 guy with like 20 home runs? Is it world beater? No, but it's like you're talking Ozzy Albies type stuff. He's got some hobby love here. So again, 157 weighted runs created. But what I'm really liking here is let's get to the Statcast. Yeah, so look at that exit velocity on his average. This is not even his maximum, just on average. He's in the high 80s, and now he's sitting mid 90s here. He's barreling up the ball at an incredible rate here. And so last year there was like a 2 or 3 week stretch where he was like the best hitter in baseball. He's right up there. So this is in him to do that, and he's showing some skills here right now, which is exciting to see. That hard hit rate creeping up into the mid 40s here. Soft contact low. This is a quality hitter here. So I don't know what else I had to say about him or so whatever, but I mean the plate presence is ridiculous. I mean swinging at 12% of the pitches outside the zone, and most guys are 20-25%. So now if he outside the zone, you're making 100% contact outside the zone. So yeah, a lot of these metrics are a bit screwy here. But what I'm saying is, this is a legit hitter. He's getting his chance, and I think he's making a nice use of his opportunity. So the refractor has broken the downtrend. You're in a nice little uptrend here, and you're near the top of the range. So maybe this isn't the spot to do anything with it. Get a little bit thin, but on pullbacks, I mean, this may be someone to put on your radar. So not the most expensive card, $50. So I mean, you're splitting hairs if you're looking for $30-$40 or something like that. So who knows? But the trend is up. He broke the downtrend. It's like could be one of the more interesting players. Now, there's a couple things with these guys. It's like, all right, you've got exceeding expectations, but I think there's also relevance. So he's exceeding expectations, but how relevant is he to the hobby? You got to have that. So, Deshaun Watson, like he wasn't doing anything with expectations, but there was some relevance surrounding his cards, and that certainly affected the price. So you got to get in the news as well, I think. So, all right, Pete Alonso, refractor. Another player that I like quite a bit here. So again, I'm not pumping or dumping or anything like that. I'm buying. I'm not selling. So, but this is why I'm buying. So maybe there's something to that. So he's doing what Pete Alonso usually does here. So 278 average, actually pretty good for him here with a little bit of a higher batting average on balls in play, but 141 weighted runs created, 3 bombs. Striking out, what he does for a power hitter, for a guy that's can hit 40 home runs. I mean, that's kind of what they do. I'd like to see him walk a little bit more, but it's still early in the season. We'll see what he can come up with here. The wins above replacement a little bit low. I'd love to see him around that half to of 1% or something like that. So maybe we can get it going here. But again, he's hitting the ball as hard as he's ever hit. He's barreling up, really, really well. And so here's a player that hit 280, 40 home runs with an elite level weighted runs created, 130 plus. It's a terrific player, but is it enough to get his cards going? It's like, no. So with all that said, it's like people still don't want him. So all right, I'm alone in this. That's fine. So all right, the trend remains down. It's compressing lower. So one of these days it'll probably break out. I'm just gonna buy in anticipation of that. Juan Soto, this is his first Omicron auto. $3,000. It's just it's in an area, a lot of consolidation. This is kind of boring stuff here. So trend is up, but consolidating kind of in an area. Gets much above that. It's been more like one-offs, but eventually you'll see a lot of buying in this area, and that'll be the price. But for now, once it gets too much above that, it's kind of a one-off here. But if we see continued sustained buying, and this is more organic. We don't like the pops where 2 or 3 people drive the price up from $1,000 to $5,000 or anything like that. If we can get a bunch of people to slowly grind it upwards, that's healthy. So this is a healthy ascent here. So this is what we're looking for as these guys get back to their highs. Oh, hey, all right. Well, here's my last one here. So, all right, Yordan Alvarez. This is a weird one here. So for the season, he's hit 200 with a 100 batting average on balls in play, striking out 10% of the time, based on balls like 13% of the time. 3 home runs. So he's got like a 163 weighted runs created while hitting 200. It's like, what the heck is going on? I love the early season statistics, so they're so goofy, like they can be really goofy here. So 0.2 WAR, it's like, oh geez. My top 10 hitters not looking great. Well, no, it is looking great. It's just not looking great on the surface here. So all right, exit velocity, he's increased that. He hits the ball really, really hard. Max velocity, not quite there yet here, but he's barreling up at a nice rate, and he's hitting the ball. So here's the interesting thing here. He's barreling up the ball at a really high level here. He's hitting the ball hard, 63% of the time. So home run to fly ball, it's a little bit elevated, but you look at his soft contact, 4.5% here. So he's hitting the ball really, really well, and I have to say that I think that the dude's getting extremely unlucky. People who are watching, tell me, how's he looking here? But it sounds like he's just getting crazy unlucky, and this will regress, and he'll have some sort of awesome hot streak at some point here. So looks like it's coming into an area of support much below this. It's more of a one-off here. So that's his refractor again, $50-$60. I'm not going to say it's cheap or anything like that. You're right in there with Lux, and these guys are kind of in that same group, and so the price is probably fair. But if he starts to heat up, maybe he can move into that next echelon and get a nice pop here. So, all right, Christian Yelich. There was a kid on my 9-year-old team. We were going around, hey, what's your name? What's your favorite team? All that kind of stuff to do the introduction. He's like, hey, Brewers, Yelich. And Tommy and I were just kind of looked at each other like, dude, you look at your pitching staff. You got to go with this guy. Trend is down. Whatever, and he's not looking too good at the plate here. All right, some old guys. The 80 stuff's on fire, right? So, Darryl Strawberry, PSA 10, the 83 tops traded with a nice rip off of support here. So we love these zones here, and this one came darn near to it perfectly and got a nice pop. Wait. I think on that one here, we've seen these pops before. They tend to give back, but if you're patient, then you might have a little better spot here. So again, it's a current price. That's not insignificant. So I think waiting a little bit, down to $400, $350 or something is not insignificant. So, all right, Dwight Gooden, the 84 Fleer update right at the top of his range is where selling is taking place in the past year. So, again, a little bit thin. This is a card that maybe just sit back and watch. And you'd think I'd do Cocaine next, but I'm not. I'm going to do Don Mattingly after Strawberry and Gooden. But no, we'll do Don Mattingly here. So, this is the most iconic card of the 80s, right, or something like that. You got Ricky Henderson. There's a few of them, but this was voted as one of the tops here. So the 84 Donners, PSA 9, middle of the range here. $190 card, probably not going to hurt you a whole lot either way. And Kirby Puckett. We're talking 80s, man. You got to go with my boy Kirby Puckett here, bottom of the range, getting a little bit of lift off here. Selling is taking place in this area, so it could come back just a bit. So again, not insignificant, $1,000 card in that PSA 10. So that average price is probably a better spot, that $705. That's where it recently was, and then one person decided to pay $900 because it probably doesn't come up that often. So again, patience may be rewarded. And Tony Gwynn, one of my Puckett, Gwynn, and Mann, those are my 3 favorite players from the 80s. So slow, steady grind upwards, middle of the zone. Again, buying these cards is probably not leading to quick profits or anything like that, but what the heck, these guys aren't gonna get you killed to the downside. Although they certainly did. They did get hit like everybody else in the market. But they've held up relatively well. All right, basketball. We've got some playoffs here, so I want to do some playoffs, and then I was looking for some names, and Just Man's like, here's some vintage guys. Like, yeah, let's do vintage across the board. So we'll have a few vintage players here at the end. So Donovan Mitchell, this is the silver. Here's your support zone, very loose, and it's kind of leaking below that. There's a lot of buying, but there's been a lot of buying on the way down, so that trend remains down. So tough to say risk reward sets up favorably when you keep going lower. So one of these days you see a little bit of a bounce, and you can have a more solid marker of support. But for now, again, lots of buying, but a lot of these players are going to become soonly irrelevant. So Giannis, see what happens on this one. Now, momentum is curling up while he's going sideways, so he's working off this negative momentum by going sideways. So we've had kind of this grind for the most part, but looks like this is an area where buying has stepped in. Get much below it, it's a one-off, and so he's more than a playoff speculation, obviously, with his career. But if you're looking for Giannis, seems like this is close enough to a pretty good spot here. Jimmy Butler having a nice playoff here, but his prices are getting stuck at the top of the downtrend here. See how that plays out. Anthony Edwards, man, looking good. So this is a player that I went to the game a month ago, and it's like, oh my gosh, he looks really good, and he's continuing that, and so he had a nice pop on that one. But you're getting to an area of resistance, kind of this confluence of the downtrend and this area of just where selling has taken place in the recent past here. So getting a little bit thin here, and the playoffs, the T-Wolves may not be long for the playoffs. If you have this card and you're interested in taking profits, may be the way to go. Again, not the most expensive card, but you might be able to save yourself a couple bucks here and there, or you take advantage of a flip if that's what you are looking to do. And if we're talking Timberwolves, got to talk Kevin Garnett downtrend and putting in some new lows here. So there's the one offer and get a pop here, but if you're looking for this card, you may want to wait for the downtrend to break. But again, we're talking about $100 card on this one, so whatever. All right, Jordan Poole having himself a playoffs here. So these are your previous highs. He has broken out and exceeded them on low volume, and you're getting closer to the top of the range here. So the way it's going, you might have people coming in saying, hey, got to get this card, and it could certainly go higher, as thin as it is. Like, who the heck knows, right? But if you are, this is where there's been a lot of buying, and after the season, it wouldn't be surprising to see it return at least into the sub $400 level. So it's like, well, if you can get the price, maybe that's the way to go on that card here. All right, Just Man, here we go. He had some good thoughts. Love these cards here. You want Dr. J, and you know what? You're getting the bird and the magic for free here. So I'm not giving you the bird, dude. It's Larry Bird. All right. So trend is down, and this is an area that we were looking at for buying for a while. It's like, all right, just be patient, and something in here, and here we are. So this is the PSA 8, and I think if you're looking for this card, you're really close to, and you've been patient. I think you're really close to pulling the trigger. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all-time great superstar. All right, for your old-time Red Hot Chili Peppers fans, PSA 6, a little fake break below the range, and a nice pop here. So no blood on this one. If you buy it, then you're probably fine. It's just been a lot of sideways action, and probably look for more of the same. And Moses Malone in a PSA 8, a lot of sideways action as well. So a lot of those vintage cards is kind of their own asset class. They're going to do roughly the same thing again, unless some news comes out on one of them. And I don't want to hear any news on these guys right now. It's probably not going to be good. So hang around for as long as you want. All right, but sideways action here, and again, probably no blood if that's what you choose to do. All right, some vintage football. I don't watch his stuff a whole lot. Nothing against him. Was at Sports Card Investor, but I think he had a thing on. I saw when other people were talking about 80s cards ripping or something like that. So I'm like, all right, let's take a look, and I'm not seeing it here. A lot of consolidation, grinding sideways. Now maybe if it's the 10 or something like that, which it's a little different animal in the 80s than it is currently. So perhaps that's the case. So I didn't watch it. I don't know, but I thought we'd just look at some 80s cards to see what happens here. So near the bottom of the range. What the hell? It looks all right here. And that's the PSA 8. Jerry Rice, PSA 8. Just grinding sideways. I mean, they all look interesting enough. It's like, not going to hurt you. I don't expect them to rock it up or anything like that for the meantime. But at least you've avoided this crap. And like right now, it's not going to hurt. So breaks below, then you do something different. But there's enough buying in here to support the current prices, and there are enough cards to support them as well. Steve Young, PSA 8. Bottom of the range, getting a little bit of a lift here. So again, probably not rocketing to the top or anything like that, but the purchase right now is not going to hurt. So Barry Sanders, PSA 9. Got to do my Tecmo Bowl chart blast and do all these guys again. I'll have to wait a few weeks now that we're doing most of them here. So trying to style, you're looking at again similar consolidation as the rest of the guys. Emmitt Smith kind of the same deal. You get a couple more one-offs here because Cowboy fans are nuts. But here we go, just sideways action, and probably no blood until we can break one way or the other. In Thurman Thomas, he finally found his helmet. You have your resistance at this area here, and you've got your support, and he's closer to support, so it looks again, a lot of those guys look interesting enough. And congratulations to my Wild in an overtime victory. They clinched a playoff spot. Kirill Kaprizov continues to grind upwards and wrap it up with Plastis, who is at the bottom of the range, getting a little lift. Again, trend is it remains down, but it's mostly just sideways action here. And so one of these days we will have a better idea what is going to happen next. Shall we go up or are we breaking down? So, all right, that's what I know. So, hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.